It's Molly.
You know what this is.
It's the PNWWG Podcast, beach.
And this week, our bad, shitty lighting is on purpose.
Hell yeah. Because we getting all mood like. That was a terrible thing.
Mood like, hello?
Mood.
Yeah, like
Mood.
bow chicka wow. Like,
No.
what she means by this is we gonna get spooky, y'all.
Hell yeah. This week on PNWWG, we talking about ghost stories. Cue ominous music.
Woo! Sorry.
First, I'm gonna apologize for any squeaks you may hear.
The dog is here again.
My puppy
Yay.
likes to squeak.
That's not a ghost. That's a real thing.
That's my dog.
Jonathan is on dog watch duty. Keep that thing away from him.
Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna start off, bitch. We're gonna start off with our personal experiences
With the paranormal.
with the paranormal. I'm gonna go first because I've had less than Victoria. Now, I believe in the paranormal. We both do.
Some more than others.
She's just had a lot more experiences than I have.
I'm also more susceptible to it because of my family history, but I'll go into that later.
Yeah, I'm skeptical until I've heard it from someone that I trust or I've felt it.
Yeah, I mean, that's most people, I think.
Because, like, I'm not gonna just go around being like, oh, well, you know, a ghost is here. I believe in ghosts and I believe in demons and stuff like that, but I don't believe every time that someone says it's somewhere. Like, this is a haunted place. I won't always believe that.
Yeah, I try and, enter with that level of skepticism as well, which we will talk about. We have been to places together or just, like, on our own in the city that
We should find a haunted place and go there.
vlog it.
Yes.
Add it in. We could do
Personal channel vlogs.
We could do the standout theas and watch the building.
There is a haunted building, which I was going to talk about.
So, I've had very limited experiences. One experience I had was in my house, or my parents' house, and I was downstairs in our TV room, and my mom had come down to go to work. She opened the door, said hi, and then she left the door open and left. Now all the lights are off in the kitchen and hallway. I'm in the TV room watching TV. Puka! Shut your damn face!
Wow. Aggressive.
Thank you. And then all of a sudden, like, I look down, straight down, and you know how there's the cabinets?
Yeah.
There was a flash of light, like a car drove by or a lightning or something,
Mhm.
and I saw a silhouette of a person.
Oh, God.
And I was like, I'm gonna go now. Not gonna chill down here anymore, so bye. But it was so weird because the light came from the front door.
Mm-hmm.
And the silhouette of the person was like the shadow. I could full on see the shadow of the body. It wasn't like, and it wouldn't have happened from the light of the door. It would have had to happen from like behind me or something for me to see a shadow like that.
You've literally let me stay in this house by myself and left me downstairs with that thing. What's wrong with you?
It only happened one time.
I will say I have stayed in your house, though, and late at night it gets a little sketchy.
It gets so sketchy. If I'm in one room, I'm not leaving it. Unless all the lights are on,
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
Well, luckily, your switches through your house, you can, like, turn them on in one room, and then as you walk, like, turn them off.
Yep.
That's what I ended up doing when I...
And whenever all the lights downstairs are off, I run upstairs.
Just run for it.
Yeah, don't look down the hallway because there will be a demon down there, maybe, probably just in my imagination, and then you run up. And then there was another time where I thought that I was about to be possessed by a demon.
This is... I don't know, but okay.
I don't know, but I was worried. I was real worried. So we had started writing a book together. It was a horror novel about demon and possession and stuff like that.
It's still in process.
It's still in the works. We have just taken a break for a long time. It's my fault.
I'm also adapting it for a screenplay for a short film right now in my class.
Mhm.
So it's still being worked on.
It's in the works. It's fine.
I'm a little scared to work on it after remembering that this happened, though.
So we were writing it, and I don't even think we got to the demon part of it.
No, but we had been talking about it late at night, and we had, like, outlined it.
Yeah, so we'd just been talking more and more about demonic possession and, like, watching stuff about it and doing research on it.
Yep.
And then one night, I had this dream where we had to get the demon out of the box, and it was like this like snake kind of thing, and we had to like try and pull it out of the box, but then it was like sucking itself back in. And then all of a sudden this girl comes screaming out, and she's just screaming. And I text her the next day. I was like, "Oh my God, Victoria, I think I'm being possessed."
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can distinctly remember. But I feel like something else was off
Yeah.
that made me feel like I was also being possessed.
You just felt, like, different. You might have, I told you, I think I remember telling you this, you might not be, obviously you're not possessed because possession is the very last thing.
Yeah, it was.
But you were definitely having some oppression on some
oppression,
level.
that was the word.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, no, I need to get in a better mindset. I need to be stronger because
Burn
I
some
cannot be
sage.
weak for this because I am not getting possessed.
Get your sage stick, your smudge stick out, and bless yourself, child.
Yeah. But it's all better now.
Yeah, you feeling good?
Yeah, and the oppression stopped. I was strong enough to resist.
Oh my God. Well, we had actually a couple of joint experiences.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into that in a second, but I guess I should kind of preface everybody with, like, my family history and
Yeah.
just, like, my own, like, what I think's not wrong with me, but...
What's wrong with me?
So my family on my mother's side and my father's side both dealt with things that were kind of like, I guess you would say, like, in the occult. Like, what do you call, like, the Ouija board and stuff like that? It's like an occult kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my family...
Johnny's here.
Johnny's the ghost that you can't see.
Hello.
Floating head. Okay. So both sides of my family dealt with that. My great-grandmother's house on my father's mother's side was definitely haunted. I know that's really confusing, but, like,
My dad's house was haunted.
my aunt and my uncle and my dad have all recounted stories about, like, how they would see things floating around that house and be, like, scary stuff happening. So, and, like, my uncle went back there, and it's actually now a museum in Eastern Washington. I don't know what it's called, because I've just never been there. I really want to go back there. My uncle said he would take me. I really want him to take me. Uncle Chris, if you're watching this, please take me there. But, yeah, it's now a museum because it's so haunted and everybody knows about it. I wish I knew more about it. But
That's crazy.
on my mom's side, specifically my grandmother, her family growing up, they grew up on Beacon Hill, which is, like, right in the middle of Seattle for the most part. I mean, it's above, like, the city, but it's
above and to the east.
yeah, it's not like
It's not
direct Seattle, like
It's definitely Seattle.
but yeah.
It's not downtown, but
So my grandma, like, grew up in the city and such, and there was a lot of, like, ladies groups and stuff back in the day, and sit down, have their tea, and, like, that kind of stuff. My
All
family
fancy
wasn't
like.
fucking like that, okay? My great-grandmother, my Gigi, and all of her lady friends, and her mother, so my great-great-grandmother, used to go down in the basement where, mind you, my grandmother used to make dolls and literally, like, doll heads and glass eyes and all this stuff, like, doll body parts downstairs.
It's creepy at night.
This is a
I've
different house.
Never been down there. I refuse to go.
Well, even at Grammy's.
I'll get there. That's coming. Trust me. That's also like, there's been things at that house too.
Okay, anyway.
But they used to go down in the basement with all the doll parts and such, and they used to use a Ouija board and try and contact their dead relatives. Their favorite of these was my great-great-grandmother's 3 ex-husbands that all died under suspicious circumstances. We all think that she murdered them to this day. I'm not kidding. Eastern Washington was a crazy time back in the, like, I want to say 10s and 20s. Anyways, so they would do that kind of stuff, and they were also, like, kind of thought at, like, in their own, like, little, like, Salem witch trial, like, we don't like you kind of people. So one of my grandmother's, I think, cousins, I want to say it was one of her cousins. I don't really remember like the relationship, but they were very close with the family. They had a baby girl who died. And because of the reputation of my family, they refused to bless her when she died.
Wow.
The Catholic Church. They said, no way, you guys are into some weird stuff, we're not going to do that. Which, can't really blame them. They were playing with the Ouija board. I myself have done tarot, and I do tarot, and my family was into that too. So my grandma, because she grew up with that, and she has been kind of haunted her whole life, she thinks of spirits, like Johnny was saying earlier, like my grandma's house is very haunted. There are things that come into her house that I have like witnessed. I believe my great grandma is walking around there. My aunt has seen her. My grandma sees her. She says every single day. I don't know if I believe that, but I've heard her around, like people walking around.
But it's not like malicious. Spirits.
No, it's not a malicious spirit, but
She's just there.
It's just
she's just like kind of there walking around, like saying hey, or somebody else is
like
there.
The little girl in my dad's house.
Yeah, like not a bad spirit, but you know. And I believe my grandma because she's being completely serious, and she's also very scared. So when she found out that I had bought tarot cards, she was very angry with me.
She was not happy.
She told me like you can't be working with that stuff because she is a devout Christian. So I am also like I am Christian,
feel like tarot is
not as bad as a Ouija board, but you can like if you don't know what you're doing, kind of fuck shit up. So, which is actually in our book.
which is why we take care of tarot cards. We don't try to fuck around with those.
So that with that really long preface, my family's kind of like felt like they've had an affinity for seeing spirits, for feeling weird energy, that kind of stuff. I have never personally, like at least like when I know I'm 100% awake, seen an apparition or anything like that. I have had many dreams that I like was in sleep paralysis and I saw something which I didn't know if that was actually a dream or if I was seeing what I was actually seeing.
I just couldn't really see it because it's red.
Bitch.
I'm sorry. I was trying to figure out what Puka had.
I told you he's showing on about.
There's nothing out here you can eat that's gonna put
Yeah.
them up. I just make
Monitored.
So anyways,
Sorry.
So, I have grown up, my dad's house, when my parents got divorced, my dad moved into a house. We found out when we moved in from my best friend, who was also my next door neighbor, not Molly, other than Molly, she may be on the podcast one day, Koweta. She told me that the wife that was married to the guy that previously owned our house died there. And he had kind of spiraled out of control and done a lot of shitty stuff. So, moving in there already, before she had even told me that, I kind of like just fell off. I got really sick after moving in there. Nobody knew what was wrong with me, and I knew that
so scary.
I knew that I didn't want to be there, and things just started happening. My dog, both Keto, and then Snoopy later on, would just bark at the fireplace for no reason.
No reason at all.
Just bark at it. Then the door, so there was a, just like, you know, like a regular door to go out into the garage from the house.
Yeah, Molly and I actually saw it.
Molly
I've
and
seen
Jonathan,
it on multiple occasions, just open.
and it wasn't a light door, it latched, there was no latch problem.
I remember closing it, hearing the latch.
Yeah, I was a
You
witness.
were doing something.
I was out of my
You
truck.
were in your room, and Molly and
We're
I...
just
Oh, this
waiting.
is another time. There's 2 times.
There have been 2 times. I'm just chilling. All of a sudden, I hear a door open. And I watch as the garage door just opens up a little bit. And I was like,
There was a point that I like would wake up in the middle of the night and I just would like prepare myself to see it open. Like it just opened on its own. And it was always on my side. So there were 2 sides of the house. I had kind of like my own side. There's no reason for this. It was always cold on my side of the house. There's like a line. Like when you stepped onto my side where my room was and stuff, it was just instant cold. No matter what time of year it was.
True.
Yeah.
Well, that house in general was always cold.
Yeah, but it was always somewhat warm around Dad. Like when I got really sick, my dad actually made me sleep in his room on his side of the house because I was getting more sick from staying in my room. It was so cold.
It was really cold.
But your room also didn't have heat.
Yes, it did.
I thought you told me it did.
In the beginning, it didn't, and then he fixed it. Like he had someone come out and fix it, and then it never worked. You could hear it going, but it just, yeah,
That's
it was
what
just
it
always cold.
She died in that side of the house, apparently.
Huh?
Haunts only that side of the house.
I know, it was kind of weird. I had many dreams there, like that sleep paralysis thing, where I would see a dark figure in my room.
On the ceiling.
That was in the apartment. I'll get to
Oh,
that.
right. That was in the apartment. Not that
This was in front of my bed. Very creepy. I didn't know like what I was seeing, if it was real or not. I still don't know. I like in my own head, I think it was just like something dark was there. It's my opinion. You don't have to believe me. And then eventually I moved out and we moved into our first apartment. And I was laying in bed one night. I don't know if this was a dream or if I was actually experiencing sleep paralysis. And I was just like stiff like this. And I looked up on our ceiling. And there was this black spider-ish, like bug-like creature with its head like turning on its side, crawling on like this little ledge that was above our bed.
Every time freaks me out. I hate
And I couldn't move. I couldn't get up. And that place was just really dark. There was dark energy. That place was also in a haunted part of Tacoma as it is. Like we would drive home, there would be a building that turned its lights on and off. Where nobody be in the building and you just see the whole floor go dark and then turn back on again. Like we just watched the building from our car. Just did it all the
Yeah,
time.
I'd pick her up from work, we'd go get Jack in the Box and then sit in the car and watch the building.
Yeah.
And it would happen happen at the same time, like every single night.
Yeah. And you knew there wasn't anybody there because like you could see into the office space.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see anybody there.
And the way that the lighting was happening, it wasn't just like a janitor cleaning.
Yeah, it didn't make sense. Like, why would you go in there and like it was the same pattern every time? It was yeah.
It was really weird.
So and then of course like, just like I'll go to places which I'll talk about like what I've experienced, what I felt weird at, and when I haven't felt weird and stuff like that as we go through. But yeah, that's my thing with the paranormal. I'm very into it. Every anniversary Jonathan and I have had for like the last, I want to say like all of our anniversaries, we've done something creepily like paranormal themed because we're both really into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then also our anniversaries in October.
Yeah.
So yeah, now that we're like thoroughly freaked out for me talking about my experiences, because I'm freaked out now thinking about what's happened to me. Let's get into it, shall we?
Shall we?
All right. So if you want to go to these creepy places in Seattle, I'm gonna edit this down heavily.
Heavily.
But if you want to go to creepy places in Seattle, we've been to a few.
Mm-hmm.
First place, which we didn't even realize was haunted, but is supposedly haunted, is Kell's Irish Pub.
In Pike Place.
Dun dun dun!
Cue eerie music.
But, so Pike Place Market is very haunted on its own.
Yep.
If you've ever heard of like underground, like Ghost Coffee, some stuff like that. There's a tour in there as well through Pike Place. That's a ghost tour. You can do that. I've never done it. I would like to do it eventually, but
That'd be fun.
Well, what ghost tour did we do?
we did
The
the
underground.
Seattle Underground. We'll get into that. So, we went there before we went on our underground haunted tour a while back, like last October.
Mm-hmm. No, I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago. We've been together a long time. It just blurs
Yeah.
together. So,
Yep.
we didn't even know it was haunted. We had seen this episode of Ghost Adventures. If you watch Ghost Adventures, shout out to you. But we went in there. We didn't know that this was the building that it was. Supposedly, there's a little girl that haunts it. It's not supposed to be an evil spirit. Like, she died there somehow. And that's basically it. There's, like, two spirits, basically. They're both, like, none of them are malevolent. So, that...
Malicious.
Or malevolent. You can say malevolent. That's a word.
It is.
Yes. Malevolent is, like, demonic. Yes. So...
Maleficent. Haha. Sounds similar.
Malevolent.
I know.
Maleficent. Ooh. Beesh.
Yep. You see the connection now.
Can't say that word.
Maleficent or malevolent?
Probably both.
Just not gonna try.
Not gonna try.
No.
So we went there. We had a good time. We didn't
Let
know it
me
was
tell
haunted.
you, Kell's has the best Bailey's chocolate cake.
Very true.
My
So she
boyfriend
says.
doesn't like cake. He doesn't like sweets really. But I don't know why he was feeling sweets that day. He was like, let's get dessert.
Okay.
And they said Bailey's chocolate cake, and he's like, ooh, you had me at Bailey's. And so we got it, and it's amazing. We went back the very next day just to get cake. it's the best.
They also have some pretty good food. So if you're looking for like a cutesy, like it's haunted, but I
But
don't.
not really. I didn't really feel anything.
I mean, I didn't feel anything there, but that also could be because of the positive spirit. Usually, I'm feeling. Actually, I take that back. I have felt, positive spirits. So I don't really know. Maybe she just kind of hides when there's a lot of people there. The little
Maybe.
girl. If you do the one that like comes out a lot, she is a little girl. She's a redhead. Look
Oh
for
my
her.
gosh. Yeah. It makes so much sense because it's an Irish pub.
Yeah. Irish family.
Uh-huh.
So now let's go into.
Seattle Underground.
So
Dun,
Molly's.
dun, dun.
Sorry. Didn't wait for the music. Molly has done this once.
I've done it twice.
Sorry, you've done it twice. I forgot about the other time.
I've done.
I've done it 3 times actually. I don't remember the first
I
time.
think
I
I've
was
done
alone.
the Seattle Underground like 4 times.
I've done this.
It's an email.
Bookstore. I thought it said underground, and I was gonna be like,
What?
anyways.
Jinx.
I did just a regular underground with Molly, where they do talk about one of the stories that is haunted,
With the
but
teller.
it's not emphasized in the tour. It's just
Not.
telling you the history.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course we did that same day we went to Kells. Jonathan and I went on the haunted tour. That's at night. In
But it
October.
wasn't. It was like through a different company.
No, oh yeah. I mean, yes, they're intertwined, but that one's called Spooked in Seattle. Highly recommend. It's very good.
Yes.
I can't remember our tour guide lady, otherwise I'd tell you. Also, I had got a really cool mug that I use every day. It is glass and it has bats on it. Very
And
cool.
I got a really awesome beer
Stop
mug.
texting your boyfriend. Molly, what should we talk about the underground? So it's really fun. It smells really bad.
It smells really bad. You can probably see rats, but
Yep.
usually you don't because there's too many people and they don't like it.
If you go during
You
right
could probably
before
murder
Halloween,
someone under there, but they have it all under lock because
I
you
will
can't hear
say-
anything from up there.
Yep.
Sorry.
If you go right before Halloween,
Oh
they
yeah.
have a bunch of creepy Halloween decorations.
They do
and
set up an abstract haunted house, so it's not. It's not like
just stop.
it's not like bloody murder. They just like set it up like an abstract kind of like scary art haunted house, which is really cool because we did the tour during that. I personally, we did the one where we like went and saw the bank teller together, or like where the bank teller was. He got murdered there.
They all say that it's haunted right there, but
Mhm.
I never felt like it was.
I've never felt anything there. I've been there twice now. Never felt.
Never
anything.
felt like it was extra cold or anything.
No, but basically, what the underground is from is Seattle is built over the old city because
We
it
can
burned
do
down.
a whole other episode about the history of Seattle,
Or you just Google it.
or you can just Google it. But it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's so the reason they had the underground. Long story short, is because Seattle burnt down and they built over it.
Yeah, it used to be like level, kind of with the ocean, but
Mhm.
with a sound, and it kept flooding.
Mm-hmm.
So when the city burnt down, they're like, "This is our chance. Let's build it up."
Screw it up on top of
So
it.
that's what they did.
And they say like it was really dangerous, obviously, when they were building it. Like
Because the road was the first thing to be built. So the road's up here, the sidewalks are down here. You had to climb a ladder, cross the street, and climb back down. Only like a handful of people died during that time though.
people were smart. I don't know what to tell you.
No women died. I think it was like one drunk guy.
There's one drunk guy, I think the lady said.
Yeah.
So Seattle's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, if you go on the haunted underground tour, they will.
Hookah?
Where's he going?
I don't know.
Okay. They will take you around to more sites in Seattle. They take you to the site of where one of the performers of like this cool artistic thing that someone did off the side of a building fell to their death. Just haunted hotels in general, like they'll take you outside of that. They'll take you in the underground. But there is one portion of the Seattle underground that dog, what are you doing?
Oh, he wants to go outside
He's
so
like,
bad.
where's my friend?
He
Where's my
wants to go
uncle?
outside so bad. I feel so bad.
We're almost done. We're gonna talk about 13 Steps to Hell after this.
Yeah.
So this saloon is one of the oldest. I think it is actually the oldest bar in Seattle. It's called Merchants Cafe and Saloon.
Never heard of it.
It's on the Haunted Underground tour. So they take you there at night. You have a certain age to go there. I think it's 18 plus. They'll let you in. And then they take you to the underground section of the bar where they had this murder story of the, like, what's the bouncer guy, or like the guy that took care of like the safe. The owner still thinks it's haunted. She came down and told us herself, like, she saw this wine rack fall over in front of her own eyes. She has to leave a shot of whiskey on top of the safe, the original safe for the guy. All this stuff. And like, I was like, yeah, okay, funny story. And I'm sitting there in this underground, and Jonathan like knows. He looked at me, and I just started feeling really weird. Like, I felt like
I felt weird.
I felt like my body was like elongating, and I was like stuck to my seat. And I kind of like, when I stood up, because we were all sitting down for a second, when I stood up, I kind of like almost tripped backwards, and it just felt very off there. And like, that's the first thing that we talked about after, was that actual portion of the tour, as well as the building that the tour is done in is also part of the underground. The portion that we go into, we actually did a spirit box session, if you know what that is, where you talk through the radio waves to the ghosts. And there's also this death museum that has a whole bunch of artifacts, and artifacts can also cause ghosts as well, because they attach themselves to that. And I felt really fucking weird in this underground portion, to the point where I literally like went in to go check it out while Jonathan was buying me my little cup that I got as a souvenir, and I like hit this wall of cold, just like at my house, like wall of cold. I knew I didn't want to go any further into the death museum. I turned around and I walked. It's like, we gotta go. Nope, we gotta get out of here. So Merchants Cafe, ever go there, and Spooked Underground. Just go to the building, the death museum building. It's scary. It's haunted. I thought that was more haunted than anything else, but that's just me. And last but not least, if you don't want to go to Seattle, you want to drive a little bit, you want to take a ferry, you can go Port Townsend. Have you been to Port Townsend?
I don't think so.
It's a fun place. You'd like it there.
I probably would.
There's a lot of fun stuff there. There's really neat crystal shop that we went to.
I love crystal shops.
What do you smell?
I don't know, it smells like fart. Puka, get down!
Was that you? I can't smell anything. Probably my breath. Never mind.
Probably, you right.
I right. Anyways.
Anyway, Port Townsend.
Port Townsend's really fun. Crystal shop, spice shop. You got some tea there. They
Spill
also,
that tea, Beach.
They also have an underground, but for other reasons. So Port Townsend also did have a fire like Seattle, because apparently in the state we have a problem with fires.
Apparently.
So they built over, but there was also...
Rains all the time. Who knew?
Right? Like,
Sorry.
what the fuck?
Well, it's because we had so much wood back in the
We
day.
also were lumber.
Yeah,
that's
we
true.
were.
So we built everything out of wood.
Yeah.
Very true.
So
So...
sadly, the day that it decided to burn down, there was no rain.
Yeah.
The one day. Sorry. Keep going.
Damn it, Carl!
One job. Can I talk about the Shanghai tunnels now, you guys?
No, you're not allowed.
Okay, so there's this thing, this process that we can talk about more in another video as well. Shanghai, where people would go to like this saloon or bar when they came into town for the gold rush or whatever. Like they were stopping in Port Townsend before they headed up to Alaska or where they were going. And the ladies of the night would come down and they would drug their drink, and then there would be trapdoors on the floor, and they would drop them into tunnels, take their shoes from them, and they'd be stuck in this tunnel barefoot, and there would be broken glass everywhere, so they couldn't escape because they would be walking on broken glass.
Holy shit.
This is also in Portland, also part of the Pacific
Was
Northwest.
Wasn't it for like sex trafficking?
It could be used for sex trafficking. However, this specifically was for men because they could get them in with the prostitutes, and the men were taken to be crew for a ship because
Right,
they
that's what it
couldn't
was.
get
They were being
sailors to
sold.
go on the ship. Yeah.
You okay?
Okay.
I remember I remember hearing that they would wake up on the ship and just be stuck.
Yeah. Or they'd wake up down the tunnels and things would happen there. So there's a lot of history in Port Townsend. Jonathan and I actually got to go on our own personal tour there with just the two of us and the ghost tour guy, which is amazing. Shout out to Port Townsend Haunted Tours. I don't remember his name, but he was really cool. I'm going to link all this down there below too, like different tours that I
I'll
thought
do
were
that.
good. So obviously they have shops now, which is really cool. You can just go down into the underground Port Townsend and there's shops.
Wow.
So that's
That's really
amazing first of all. They close at a certain time because obviously they don't want people walking around in there. But they have shops and you can just walk down there. There's the Palace Saloon, which everybody knows about. The lady in, I want to say blue. My parents, or my dad and stepmom almost got married there, fun fact. So glad they didn't. Because there's a lady on her wedding day that fell to her death down that flight of stairs at the Palace Saloon.
Uh-oh.
I went there. I didn't feel anything at the Palace Saloon, really. I felt a little sad, but I think it was just because of the story. I didn't feel anything there. However, I will tell you, we went to Manresa Castle, which is a little bit out of the town on our own. And it was creepy there. There had been some suicides. It's a hotel, obviously. There was a monk that committed suicide. He was either a monk or like a friar or some religious guy who committed suicide in the tower. And I just felt really sad, and I didn't realize that I was standing directly where the tower is in the building until I went outside. And I saw, because like where we went in, you just kind of saw like the whole building. But then as we were like walking outside, I looked at it and was like, oh shit, it's right there.
It was right up there.
So yeah, there's also this cool fort called Fort Worden. There's they say the guardhouse there is haunted by some soldiers that passed away there and such. I don't really know the story myself other than it's a fort, you know, things happen there. It's military.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You really anytime you go to a fort, it's probably going to be haunted. So Fort Worden's really cool. If you have the chance to go to the Palace Saloon, obviously it's got a lot of hype for being really haunted. You can do your own self-guided tour, however, at Manresa Castle, which is a little bit outside of town, but it's not like super far. So yeah, those are my stories that I wanted to share.
Well,
thanks for putting up with that.
You know, you totally forgot about when we went to Colorado.
We're
talking
talking
about
about Pacific
PNW.
Northwest.
Seattle.
Okay, what he's talking about, really briefly, we went to Estes Park, which is where the Stanley Hotel is, which is where Stephen King stayed when he got the inspiration for The Shining, and we did the haunted tour. It was really cool. We'll have another video maybe one day about like cool places to go outside of Seattle, but Molly's now going to talk to you about the 13 Steps to Hell,
So,
which I've never heard of.
I didn't either.
It's really cool.
We were like talking about podcast ideas, and we had an idea that we were both like, yesterday, we're like, shit, we can't really do that anymore. We didn't do the research for it.
Good job, guys.
Good job, us.
Yep.
And so then we brainstormed and came up with this topic. And so she was like, just tell your own stories and then we'll do like other things. And I was like, great, I have like no stories. Great. So I, today at work, Googled haunted things in Seattle. And I found this one. This was the only like actually cool one that I found. The other ones were kind of meh. They're kind of lame.
Yeah, I mean, Seattle, although it's rich in history, there's a lot of things like that, like devastations that have happened that have led to very minimal
They're
deaths.
lame.
So
They're lame.
Yeah.
They suck.
Yeah.
But this was really cool. So it's at the Maltby Cemetery. It's like east of Seattle. There's these 13 steps to this underground tomb of this like family of good means or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone who walks down, makes it to the 13th step, will be met with this this immensely real image of hell that they'll like be driven to insanity.
What?
Mm-hmm. And it's so chilling it drives them to insanity. And witnesses have watched someone make it to the 13th step and just drop to their knees in pure terror.
Is this like a well-kept cemetery? I'm Googling it.
And there have been children who have gone down there, have never spoken again. But they've now bulldozed over the steps.
Oh, shit.
But
Wow.
it's been like rumored that people like are still trying to dig and find the steps again.
So, why wouldn't they just take out the steps?
I don't know.
Okay. It's telling me where the steps are. I'm sorry, I had to look. Oh, so this is in Woodinville.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. Woodinville is also good for wineries if you guys are interested.
We'll
have
21.
We are going to have a winery tasting episode when I turn 21 because that's what we're
Fun
doing for my
fact,
birthday.
I worked at a winery.
Fun fact, Jonathan worked at a winery, so he'll be a special guest. Wow.
Oh.
This is interesting. I'm very interested to research more about this. So
I want to go.
yeah, like let's fucking
In the
go.
daytime, though, obviously, because I'm
daytime.
not stupid. I don't go to cemeteries at night. That's when the zombies come out.
I think we're gonna have a part 2 where we go and we talk about places that we go to over the summer, maybe for Halloween. Because there is an abandoned asylum outside of Tacoma, which we were gonna go to. We haven't gone to yet. It's a little sketch. It's a little hard to get there, so we're still working on that. I would like to take you to Fort Worden in Port Townsend and
I'd like to go.
explore that. So we'll refresh on that, and we should check this out while we're just there for my birthday because we gonna be in Woodville, bitch.
Hell yeah.
Is that all you had?
Yeah, that was all I had. It was the only cool one I could find.
So this is just me talking for now.
Pretty much.
But you talked a lot in the.
I talked in the beginning. I had like a few points.
You also talked in the last video very heavily.
Yeah, the
Very
sustainable living
drunk.
one.
It's very drunk.
Yeah, it's fine. It balances out.
Yeah, no, it's.
There
This
are
is like my
there are
topic.
there are certain topics that are more my topic and more your topic. Like the sustainable living was a little bit more mine.
Yeah.
Not that much.
Yeah.
A little bit more.
Well, you just have researched it more, where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like.
I guess I was
accepting-
already doing that.
Yeah. So we hope you enjoyed this spooky podcast in the
Yes.
middle of January.
Yeah, it's
like,
so out of place, but it's not. It's cool, beach.
well, for me, I deal with this every day, so you know, I literally watched Haunted yesterday, like all 6 episodes on Netflix. Good show. The last episode was about a Washington story in Olympia, our capital. So if you want to check that out, Haunted Cemetery, beaches,
Oh, shit.
demonic cemetery, actually.
Oh,
I don't remember.
stay
the
away
name.
from the weeping angels.
Yeah, don't go near them.
So I know Doctor Who, you know why.
Yeah, watch that shit. Don't watch it.
Don't watch it.
I did, and my brother showed me the clip one day, and because he knew, like, that freaked me out, and I had nightmares for days. God.
I was an idiot, and
You watch it at night?
no. What
I
happened
did.
Was, I probably did, but what happened was it was the angel episode, and there was a jump scare with the angel, and it was like angel on the screen, and I turned off that shit.
You just, like, slam it down. Like, nope.
Yeah, no, I turned off, and then I went to watch finish the episode, and it's angel right there in your
It's
face. I was
like
like,
you-
oh god.
That's like when we watched the Conjuring 2. The nun freaks us the fuck out. Molly dressed up as her, though, and I was just like, why do this to me?
So it was a lot of fun. Also, it's a lot of fun to whisper, we're all gonna die.
God fucking damn it, Molly. You were gonna. I saw it. I like realized it when you looked at me for a second. I was like, hold on, she's gonna do it right now. She wouldn't do that to me. Oh no, she wouldn't do it right now. So yeah, we hope you enjoyed this week's episode. I really did, but I'm really scared. Like every time I talk about it, I start getting scared. Luckily,
Yeah.
I think my apartment's a little haunted. Not gonna lie. Johnny saw the fridge open by itself. one
You
day.
always, everywhere you go is haunted.
It's a good spirit. It's
That's good,
energy
that's
here.
good.
It's good energy.
I don't feel like my place is haunted at all, so
You're also like live in a brand new area.
yeah,
I'm kind of
brand new
surprised.
apartment, so
Beacon Hill's
Too
pretty
modern.
haunted. Beacon Hill's pretty haunted, Molly.
it's capital city.
I know.
Columbia
you
City,
got
not
lucky,
Beacon.
but it's like
It's right there.
You're right on the edge of the ghetto, where a lot of people
On the
get
ghetto.
shot and probably killed.
Johnny over here. Okay, so we're
Johnny
gonna
being all
we're
morbid.
gonna go and like
We-
try not to be scared.
Yeah, we always film these at night. This is not a good
No,
idea.
this was not for me. Like I get freaked out, but I also have
You at least have someone to sleep with. I just have Puka.
You have roommates.
Yeah, they're in.
Tony.
He's only granite.
Go get him. Come on, bitch.
I have to wake up early tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It is extra hard to wake up early when he's in bed.
I'm sorry.
Bye.
Bye, bitches. See you next week. Hope you enjoyed.
Love you.
Stay spooky, my friends.